Ever blow a bubble and just like wonder why it's always a perfect sphere? Or look at a snowflake. Like, how do they get so intricate and symmetrical, right?
It's actually pretty cool. It all boils down to this thing called close packed spheres.
Close packed
Yeah,
spheres.
CPS for short. It's basically this idea that nature, it loves to pack things together, like as efficiently as possible. And it turns out spheres are like the superstars of efficiency, you know?
So we're talking about like how things fit together in nature, like from soap bubbles to snowflakes, it all comes down to spheres.
Exactly. You wouldn't think it, but it's all about how these spheres arrange themselves. And, this whole idea, it's not exactly new. I mean, even Plato, way back when, was onto something with this whole shape thing.
Oh, right. In Plato's Meno dialogue, he talks about a figure being the boundary of a solid. Was he like hinting at this close packed sphere idea?
Yeah, he was way ahead of his time. Think about it. You've got a bunch of spheres all packed in tight, right?
Mhm.
Well, the spaces between them, they start forming shapes. And those shapes, they become the figures that define the boundaries of the whole cluster.
Whoa, Plato was thinking about this thousands of years ago. That's kind of wild.
The hidden blueprint. You know what else is connected to this? Platonic solids.
Okay, Platonic solids. Those are like the perfectly symmetrical shapes, right? Cubes and pyramids and all that.
Exactly. But specifically, we're talking about five. The tetrahedron, the cube, the octahedron, the dodecahedron, and the icosahedron. Each one is made up of identical faces, and guess what? They can all be formed by connecting the centers of spheres. It's all about the arrangement.
So you're saying these perfect shapes are directly linked to how spheres pack together. Why are there only five of them, though?
It's all about the geometry. To be a Platonic solid, the faces have to be regular polygons, equal sides, equal angles, the whole deal. And there are only five combinations of those that can fit together perfectly to make a 3D shape.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Do these Platonic solids like actually show up in nature, or is this more of a theoretical thing?
Oh, they're out there. Crystals, for example, often form in the shapes of Platonic solids. But for our deep dive today, there's one shape in particular we need to focus on. It's going to help us navigate this whole close-packed sphere world.
Ooh, okay, you're really drawing me in here. What's this mystery shape?
The rhombic dodecahedron.
What a hedron. Okay, that's a mouthful.
Well, I know, right? Sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
But stick with me. It'll make sense, I promise. And once you get it, you'll start seeing it everywhere.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What is this rhombic dodecahedron, and why is it so important for close-packed spheres?
Okay, imagine you've got a big box, and you're trying to fit as many tennis balls in there as possible. You wouldn't just toss them in randomly, right?
You'd stack them carefully, like at the sporting goods store.
Exactly. That's basically what close-packed spheres is all about, finding that perfect, most efficient way to pack those spheres. And get this, the rhombic dodecahedron, it fills those gaps between the spheres perfectly.
So it's like the missing piece of the puzzle, the shape that emerges when you pack spheres as efficiently as possible.
You got it. And it's not just some theoretical thing. Nature uses this shape all the time.
Really? Where can I see this rhombic dodecahedron in action?
Think about honeycombs.
Honeycombs, those perfect little hexagons. What do those have to do with a rhombic dodecahedron?
It's about the space between the hexagons. You see, those hexagonal cells, they're not just flat on the back. They fit together in this 3D pattern. And the shape that defines that pattern is, you guessed it, the rhombic dodecahedron.
No way. Those bees are like little mathematicians building their homes based on this hidden shape.
Exactly. They've evolved to just instinctively understand the most efficient way to build. And that efficiency is all thanks to the geometry of the rhombic dodecahedron. Nature is amazing, isn't it? Always finding the most elegant solutions.
Honeycombs, rhombic dodecahedrons. Who knew? It's like this shape is some kind of secret code unlocking hidden patterns everywhere.
You're definitely onto something. And get this whole close-packed sphere thing, the rhombic dodecahedron, it doesn't just apply to, like, solid objects. It even explains how soap films behave.
Wait, hold up. From honeycombs to soap bubbles now. How are those two even remotely related?
Think about when you dip a wireframe, maybe a cube shape, into some soapy water. The film stretches across, right? But it's not random. It forms that, perfect shape.
Right. It uses the least amount of soap film material to connect all the edges, like it's trying to be efficient or something.
Exactly. That's what's called a minimal surface, least surface area for the volume. And guess what? The faces of a rhombic dodecahedron, those rhombus shapes, they're minimal surfaces.
Hold on. So you're saying the soap films are arranging themselves based on, like, rhombic dodecahedron geometry?
In a way, yeah. It's not that the soap film is, consciously thinking about it, but the laws of physics are basically guiding it towards those minimal surfaces, which happen to be, you guessed it, related to the rhombic dodecahedron.
That's wild. It's like the universe is showing off its math skills through soap bubbles. But how do we know this is actually happening?
Remember how we talked about the angles of a rhombic dodecahedron, where three faces meet?
Mhm.
Well, take a close look at a soap bubble. The film surfaces meet at that exact same angle, about 109.28 degrees.
Whoa. That's way too specific to be just a coincidence. It's like the universe is speaking to us.
Right. And it gets even cooler. Joseph Plateau, this physicist who studied soap films, he found that when four of those film surfaces meet, it's always at, you guessed it, 109.28 degrees.
That's the rhombic dodecahedron angle again, the one where four faces meet at a point.
You got it. It's not a coincidence. This actually suggests that space itself, like the very fabric of it, with the close-packed spheres in the rhombic dodecahedron, is influencing those soap films. It's like the universe just loves this shape because it's the most efficient way to pack things together, whether it's spheres or, in this case, soap films.
This is blowing my mind. So it's not just honeycombs and soap bubbles. This shape is like woven into the fabric of reality.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. This shape pops up in some pretty unexpected places, like, have you ever heard of a stellated rhombic dodecahedron?
A stellated rhombic dodecahedron. I can't say I have, or that I can even imagine it.
Picture a regular rhombic dodecahedron, right?
Right.
But now imagine each face is pulled outwards, like a 3D starburst. It's pretty cool looking. And guess what? It also comes from this close-packed arrangement.
Of course it does. Everything leads back to close-packed spheres.
And here's the cool part about this stellated rhombic dodecahedron. Those outward-facing points, they actually reflect a principle we see in nature all the time, the principle of minimum action.
Minimum action. Is that like nature being lazy? Trying to do as little as possible?
In a way, yeah. Nature's always trying to find that most efficient, stable way of doing things. And the stellated rhombic dodecahedron, with its outward-facing points, it's like the poster child for that principle.
So it's not just a cool shape, it's efficient too. Like nature's way of saying, look, I can be beautiful and functional.
Exactly. And guess what? The stellated rhombic dodecahedron isn't the only cool kid on the block.
Oh, there's more. Hit me with another geometric wonder from this close-packed world.
Let's talk about the Catalan-Triacis tetrahedron.
To say that again, I didn't quite catch that.
I know, right? It's a mouthful. But it's another perfect example of how minimal surfaces in these close-packed spheres create some awesome shapes.
Okay, I'll bite. What does this Catalan-Triacis tetrahedron look like?
Imagine a four-sided pyramid, right? But instead of flat triangular faces, each side curves inward, creating these dimpled surfaces. Like someone took a regular tetrahedron and just gently pushed in the center of each face.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. It's like a geometric beanbag.
You got it. And just like that stellated rhombic dodecahedron, this shape comes straight out of the close-packed sphere arrangement.
So we've got honeycombs, we've got soap bubbles, we've got starbursts, and now we've got geometric beanbags. Is there anything this close-packed universe doesn't explain?
Well, remember those minimal surfaces, the soap film shapes. Well, when they intersect within the system of close-packed spheres, things get really interesting. They create these, line structures.
Line structures, like a network of lines running through all the spheres.
Exactly. And those lines, they actually create patterns that look a lot like something you see every winter. Snowflakes.
Wait, snowflakes, those delicate little ice crystals? You're telling me they're connected to close-packed spheres, too?
They are. Those intricate branches and that perfect six-fold symmetry we love about snowflakes, they can actually be explained, at least in part, by those minimal surfaces interacting within the close-packed sphere system. It's all connected.
It's like the universe is playing a giant game of connect the dots, and the dots are spheres, and the lines are these minimal surfaces, and the picture is, well, everything.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
From honeycombs to soap bubbles to even snowflakes, it's amazing how this idea of close-packed spheres, it just keeps popping up, you know?
It really highlights how much nature seems to love efficiency, doesn't it? It's always searching for that perfect solution, the one that uses the least amount of energy, the fewest materials,
Yeah, totally. And that's where our friends, close-packed spheres and the rhombic dodecahedron come in, right? They're like nature's secret weapons for making the most out of space, cutting down on waste.
Exactly. And what's even cooler is that this whole principle is not just limited to one specific size or scale. We see it in how atoms come together in crystals, how bees design their honeycombs, even in the patterns on snowflakes.
It really is like some kind of universal design principle. It's like a hidden code running through everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the best part is, the more we look for these patterns, the more we start to see how connected everything really is.
Yeah.
Those shapes in nature that seem random at first, they often have this hidden order, this elegance that's been shaping the world around us since, well, forever.
This entire deep dive has been eye-opening. I don't think I'll ever look at a soap bubble or a snowflake the same way again. But before we wrap up, gotta ask, what does all this mean for the average person? Like, why should we care about close-packed spheres and rhombic dodecahedrons?
I think it's a good reminder that there's always more to discover. The world's full of these hidden patterns, these connections waiting to be found. So next time you see a beehive, think about those rhombic dodecahedrons holding it all together. Or check out a snowflake up close. Remember those minimal surfaces? Those lines created by those close-packed spheres.
It's like a whole new way of seeing the world. Who would have thought something as simple as spheres could unlock so many secrets of the universe? Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for exploring with us, and remember, stay curious. We'll see you on the next episode.